about the president's decision to send 30,000 troops to Afghanistan. Well, now that Roman Polanski has begun house arrest in Switzerland, which is probably a very nice house and has more than the typical amenities available to perverts, and if we can finally get past whether or not Tiger Woods cheated on his wife, got busted by his wife, and wrecked his car after getting busted by his wife, and if we can figure out how the White House gatecrashers got past the Secret Service and why, in all their arrogance, thought they needed to crash it all, maybe Americans can start focusing on the fact that President Obama has committed 30,000 more troops to Afghanistan. He basically did so because pulling out would not be the strategic thing to do, and too many Americans would question why we have remained there at all. They might question the billions of dollars that have been spent on something so far from anything resembling a win. They might say, guess what? As much as we like to help, we really don't have it to give, and what we are giving is not enough. I admire the way the president has tried to clean up the past administration's mess and mend the economic crisis at the same time. But even our bright, sincere, and articulate president cannot fix it all. So why doesn't he concentrate on what he can? Why don't we take all the billions we're spending on war in Afghanistan and Iraq and work out our problems here at home? We have the best medical professionals in the world, but fewer and fewer Americans can afford to pay for the care they can provide. We have more people unemployed than ever, and more families are suffering, some experiencing homelessness for the first time. And there still remains a vast amount of inequality in education here in America. If you're poor, chances are you're going to a ghetto school in the most advanced country in the world. The people and the undocumented who come here to find work are still in a system where we use them and lose them, and then we have the gall to complain because they're here. We need an immigration reform bill. I feel bad about all the innocent people that will suffer from fascist governments, tribal transgressions, and poppy seed-driven economy. I feel bad about the children who are forced to beg for the basic necessities of life, and I feel bad for all the little girls who are punished for just being born a girl. But we tried, and if the people there want something bad enough, they must fight for it themselves. They must say enough to corrupt, lazy, and self-serving governments. The White House says that President Obama is pleased at the economy and that it's moving in the right direction. What direction is he looking at? I happen to have a lot of respect for the president, but he seems a bit nearsighted. It's easy to get that way when you're sleeping and eating in the White House. Ordinary people can't relate to this observation. It bears no relationship to what they're experiencing. Last, I'd like to add another reason for pulling out. Not just one war, but two wars. The people of both countries don't want us there. They know that there are many troopers going to these countries with sincere humanitarian efforts, but they are not the ones putting hoods and tying hands behind the backs of suspected surgeons. This fact has caused too much animosity, and that is unlikely to be forgotten. Then add the insult to the injury. We paid war criminals like Eric Prince from Blackwater to torture, rape, and murder civilians. The so-called respected defense contractor made almost $1 billion from spilling blood, execution style. Now that he and his fellow serial killers are under several investigations and congressional probes, Prince is blaming the CIA, which is probably also to blame, but he says that he's thinking about becoming a high school teacher. If anyone happens to see Prince out there, tell him stay out of the classroom, give our kids a break. Nobody wants to know anything that guy has to teach, unless it is a course in what not to be when you grow up.